What's up, YouTube? It is me, Topher Crost, here to do another Dark Magician deck profile for you. It's been a while since I updated you guys on my Dark Magician deck, but I have been doing a lot of testing. If you can't also tell, I'm still just a little bit sick. Now, at the end of this video, I am going to have an announcement. So I'm going to try to keep this Dark Magician deck profile a little quick, faster than what I usually do. Due to the fact that I've gone over these cards a billion times, I have added some new cards to the deck. But besides those, I'm not going to, delve into the ones that I've delved into too much if I can help it, without blabbing on too much. Anyway, like I said, stay tuned to the end of the video for an announcement on a project I've been working on. It's finally time to reveal it because I'm hoping to have it out by the end of this month. So just be at the end of the video for that. And one more thing I just wanted to say. I do not use Ash Blossom in this deck because it is really expensive and it is a very good card. But I'm trying to keep my deck sort of budget now that Dark Magician has all of the cheaper versions of the cards that came out like in the legendary decks and stuff like that, like all the ultra rare versions. So without further ado, let's begin. So first I'm going to go through the deck. Obviously a 40 card deck. Now I have been playing this deck a little bit at my locals and doing pretty okay with it. So pretty good actually, very good especially for Dark Magician. So first up, we have Dark Magician. It is your resource. It's pretty much everything for this deck, and of course, you want to play 3. Second up, we have 2, Magician of Dark Illusions. I put 2 back in the deck because, although I can see him enough with 1, and you can still play 1 pretty effectively, I've been making this one a lot less fusion-focused than my last deck profile, which was around Dark Magician the Dragonite. So this one is a lot less fusion-focused and a lot more, balanced for different gameplay, so that way I can kind of tailor my gameplay to the situation. So I am running 2 of him again, because he is fantastic for XYZ plays. He also counts as a Dark Magician on the field, and lets you revive Dark Magicians from the graveyard. So that's very, very good. Next up, Apprentice Illusion Magician. Obvious reasons for playing Apprentice Illusion Magician. She gets your Dark Magician in your hand, which is super important in this deck. Also, she is a honest for your Dark Spellcaster type monsters, which is also very good. Not to mention she sets up Naruto the More Leader if you get 2 of her, which is phenomenal. Alright, next we have 3. I'm going to put them down here. I think it's just going to look better if I put them right here. Magician's Rod. Basically your search for your magic and your, Dark Magician magic and trap cards, and it also can be recycled, which makes it amazing. You always want to play 3 in the deck. I've never seen a deck that plays less than 3 Magician's Rods, and now that they're in common, they're more, they're common versions. You can get them way easier than you ever could. 1 Magician Blue Boy, Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. I keep switching them between 1 and 2, and honestly, I'm not really sure if I'm ever going to bring him back up to 2. But at the moment, he is at 1 due to him and Magician's Rod conflicting. I can't use them both on the same turn. But he is good draw. You can use him to get Spellbook of Secrets and Spellbook of Knowledge. So he does thin out the deck, and he is good draw. You could definitely play him at 2 if you got to play him at 2. Recommend. But all he basically does is search. I could, like I said, I may put him back at 2, but for now he has been running good at 1. But that is all for the monsters. Next up, we are going into the spells. Like I said, I am trying to get through this one just a little bit quicker. First up, obviously, Dark Magical Circle, Gear on 1-on-1-3. It lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, pick a Dark Magician spell or trap from them, and it also allows you to banish every time a Dark Magician is out on the field. Every time you summon a Dark Magician, which includes Magician of Dark Illusion. So very, very good. Oh, and Dark Magician the Dragonite. Next up, 2 Eye of Timaeus. I still like to see my Dark Magician the Dragonite. It is still the main play that I do go out into in my deck, but running it at 3 was just a little bit too bricky. I may bring it back up to 3 if I can figure out a way to make it brick just a little bit less, maybe some more of a draw power build, which I've done in the past. But until then, I'm running it at 2. Obviously, it's to get your Dark Magician fusions out, such as Dark Magician the Dragonite. Next up, 2 Spellbook of Secrets to search either Magician of Prophecy or Spellbook of Knowledge, so you can thin out your deck. And 2 Spellbook of Knowledge to sacrifice a Spellcaster or a Secrets from your hand or a Prophecy from your hand to draw 2. Alright, next up, a little more search for the deck. Dark Magic Inheritance, banish 2 spell cards, and then you get to get a Dark Magician spell or trap from your deck. It's the best way, especially if you're using Spellbook of Knowledge and Secrets. You can send 2 of them from the grave, and you can search, basically have an extra Magician's Rod on your first turn. So I run them at 2 because I always want to see it. Next up, oh, and it is a quick play spell. Next up, Illusion Magic, sacrifice spellcaster type, which is good for Magician's Rod if you can't get Dark Magicians in your hand. And then you put 2 Dark Magicians in your hand, and that's what it does. You only run it at 1 because it is searchable, and you don't want to brick it, especially with 3 Apprentice in your deck. Dark Magic Attack, obviously searchable by the deck, and is almost always handy because you almost always have a Dark Magician on the field, and it gets rid of your opponent's entire back row. Next, we have Pot of Duality. I run it at 2. You never want to really see more than 1 a game for the most part. I've never had to use more than 1 a game, but I run 2 just so I have some variety in my draw power. And if you run 3, you brick into it just a little bit too much, and I don't want to do that. So I keep it at 2. Not to mention, I don't like the fact that you can't special summon on the turn you use it. Allure of Darkness. I run it at 2 because at 3, this is not a very monster-heavy deck, and the few monsters that you do have in the deck, you want to keep. So I run it at 2, so I only see maybe 1 a game. But it is a good draw power card nonetheless for Dark Magicians. Banish Dark type, you get to draw 2. Upstart, of course you want to run Upstart, make the deck a 39 card deck, and it gives your opponent 1,000 life points, so that's really not hard to get rid of. And last but not least for the spell cards, we have Regeki. Destroy your opponent's monsters, pretty cut and dry, but it's a good way to get rid of a board. It's one of 4 cards that I play that most, just general people play to get rid of your opponent's board or to stop your opponent's board. The other 3 are trap cards. So that is my spells. Let's see. And next I'm going to go on to my traps. There's just a few traps in the deck, obviously, that you're going to run. I'm running more in this build than I did in my last build. So first up, we're going to run 3 Magician's Navigation. In my opinion, still the best trap card for the deck, and a very, very good way to get Dark Magician out and to get XYZ play set up. Not to mention its negate effect, which is really handy, especially when you're going in for that the finishing attack. Next up, Eternal Soul, running at 3, obviously combo with Dark Magician and Dragon Knight, and it also protects your Dark Magicians. And a good way to use Eternal Soul that people don't tell you. Oh, and also it can search Dark Magic Attack, but the big thing that I do with Eternal Soul is a lot of people have the issue of that it kills your creatures and things of that nature. Like if it gets destroyed, it just sends all your creatures to the graveyard. Have another Eternal Soul ready and never use Eternal Soul until you absolutely need it. And what I mean by that is if you went ahead and already activated Eternal Soul, unless you needed to banish something, and if you wait to use Eternal Soul, and your opponent destroys the first one, with the second one on the field, you can go ahead and get one of your Dark Magicians back. So never use Eternal Soul. Always have one at the ready and one active. But never, use an Eternal Soul before you need it. If you can always help it, use it at the end phase. So that way you're getting the best card gone possible. Alright, next up we have Solemn Warning. I'm playing it 1 because you can't play it at more than 1, just basically negate some summons. Solemn Strike. Playing it at 1 because I can't play 2 Solemn Warnings. And last but not least, a new card to my deck, Dimensional Barrier. Really, I use it mostly for pendulums. You can't use it against links because of the wording on it, but you can, ABC Dragon Buster is a big problem for this deck, and I usually get rid of him with it, and also pendulums, which those turns just take forever. If you can just cancel out the pendulum summon first turn, it gives you a humongous head start. You could switch out Dimensional Barrier with Blue Boy if need be, if you need some more draw power or another Solemn Strike. I just run it because it's generally good. And if you know what deck you're playing, it'll just stomp. It'll just destroy your opponent's first turn, slow them down ridiculously. Alright, and that was it for the main deck. Now we are going into the extra deck. First up, and we're going to do fusions. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Very good combo with Eternal Soul. Obviously, I only need to run 2 because I'm only running 2 Eye of Timaeus. But he's very, very good to run with Eternal Soul. And he basically makes all your traps and magic cards that you have on the field, spell cards, invincible, or indestructible, and if you have Eternal Souls, that basically makes him indestructible. The only way you can really destroy him in that combo is with battle, and then you can just bring him back with Eternal Souls. So that's why I run him. He's probably the fusion I go out most, unless I'm facing dragons, and then I go out into this guy. By the way, I just got this holographic version, and I just wanted to say thank you, Lou. If you don't know him, he's a subscriber I met at Guild Gaming, and actually he's part of my announcement at the end of this video. But thank you, Lou, for the Dark Paladin. Obviously, you guys know what Dark Paladin does. He is good against dragons. He gets plus 500 attack for dragons on the field in the graveyard, and he's also good for negating spells, which, if you can get him out early game, which is really, really good, just to keep a hand of, like, you have a hand of 3, you can negate up to 3 spell cards second turn. I've done it. It's ridiculous. Next up, I have Amulet Dragon. People say he's completely useless. I disagree. I'm not saying he's going to be in my deck forever, but he is really good at getting rid of spell cards in the graveyard that that your opponent can use their grave effects. And if you know they're going to use your grave effects to win games, you summon Amulet Dragon, banish that from their graveyard so they don't have the chance. That is it for the fusions. Oh, it also gets plus 100, attack, but that's not really why you're going to use it, and it'll bring back a spellcaster from the graveyard, but that's not really why you're going to use it. Next up, we have Ebon Illusion Magician. Obviously the XYZ card I go into the most. Lets you summon Dark Magician straight from your deck, banishes if one of your Dark Magicians or any normal spellcaster type monster declares an attack, and is obviously easy to get out in Dark Magician deck because it is a rank 7. Big Eye to take control of your opponent's monsters, to get rid, to help you out, to get rid of, all their, good link monsters, which is what I use them for a lot, or just, to get rid of that one powerful monster you can't destroy any other way. Gotta throw out Big Eye. Next up, we have Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. So if you attack 3 Dark Magicians first turn, get them down to 500 life points. That's typically when I use Red Eyes. So that way, when they activate the card next turn, it just kind of finishes them off. He's definitely an in-game card for me. Last of the rank 7s is Ebon High Magician. Very rarely have to go out into him. I've used him maybe twice, but when I do, he's definitely helped me out. He lets you activate cards from your hand, quick plays and trap cards on your opponent's turn. So at the cost of an XY or an XZ material, but he is definitely a card that you want to keep in your deck just in case. Next up, Naruto, the Moral Leader. Basically use him to negate spells and cards on your opponent's turn, and also he can be used to XZ summon Ebon Illusion Magician, because Ebon Illusion Magician says you can use a rank 6 spellcaster type monster. So if you got what's her name, Apprentice Illusion Magician, you have 2 of her out on the field, you go into Naruto, the Moral Leader, then you go into Ebon Illusion, get that Dark Magician out. Photon Strike Bouncer, just to negate creature spells. If you know you're playing a creature-heavy deck and you don't have a reason to have Dark Magician out on the field, you play 2 Apprentice Illusion Magicians, you get Photon Strike Bouncer out, and you can negate some monster effects, which is really, really good. Alright, and next up, I have a new... I guess let me get these off the field. Oh no, I turned the camera slightly. I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at getting the cards off the screen. Alright, and last but not least, we got Lynx. Let me see if I can pronounce her name. I'm so bad at these names. Akashic Magician. So she's a new addition to the deck. She's Link 2, and the best part about her, she's any 2 of the same monster, which makes her really easy to get out. And I use her a lot to get rid of, like, if I have 2 Magician's Rods on the field, I just don't need sitting there or something like that my opponent can't kill. She's great. Also, if she's co-linked, you can excavate cards, which helps with my next card if I pull it out first, or if your opponent has any good link monsters on their side of the field. Also, everything she points to when she is summoned gets sent back to the hand, which you end up using more on your opponent than you, but it is a very, very, very handy effect to have. So she's a good addition to the deck. I want to run 2. I don't know what I would take out for the second one yet, but probably one of my next cards. but she is very, very good, and I'm keeping her around for, she's probably the best Link monster, I think, for Dark Magicians currently. And last but not least, we have 2 Link Spiders. I've told you guys why I use Link Spider before, but you can co-link it with Akashic Magician, if I'm saying that right, to get her co-linked, but you can link one of them with her. But I mainly use it if I need to recycle Dark Magicians and I have no other way to do it. Link Spider is pretty good, and it doesn't even take up a extra deck zone spot. I mean, it technically does, but it leaves another one open, so you don't have to really worry about it if you need to play something else. That is it for my current Dark Magician deck. So what did you guys think of it? And comment below, let me know how you guys liked it. And last but not least, my little announcement, if you've stuck with me this far, or you just skip to the end of the video, either way I can't blame you, I ramble on a lot. So me and Lou, if you don't know him, again, he's the subscriber that I met at Guild Gaming, have been working on the a new Yu-Gi-Oh format, format that we have been testing. We've been going back and forth. He's been so helpful on it, and hopefully we'll have it out for you guys. The format is basically to put some nostalgia back in the game while allowing people to use pretty much any card they want. That's all I'm going to say about it for now. But we have been working on it tirelessly. That's one of the big reasons I haven't been posting as much. Hopefully we'll have it out for you guys by Christmas. That is the goal. I make no promises besides the fact that we are trying. We need to meet up one more time to get some real testing done with more than one deck that we're playing right now. But when that format comes out, I will let you know, and I hope you guys are excited for it. But that's all I'm going to say about it, except hopefully it'll make Yu-Gi-Oh! A little cheaper for everybody and a lot more fun. But besides that, we will see, and I'm sure you guys will figure out a way to break it. But that is all for now. I will see you guys soon with the new format video, or a bunch of other videos that I plan on doing. Maybe one about Ash Blossom or something like that. But if you guys want to see any of that, comment below, let me know if you're excited about the new format. Please comment below, let me know that you want me to get it out way faster. Like this video if you want some more Dark Magician deck profiles, and you guys have a wonderful day. Topher Crost out.